Bashar Al-Assad, once Syria's iron-fisted ruler, now lies vulnerable in Moscow. A poisoning attempt, shrouded in mystery, raises questions of betrayal, revenge, and geopolitics. Who wanted Assad dead, and why now? From exile to arrest warrants? Will the fallen dictator's survival may ignite a new storm across Syria? The former Syrian president, Bashar Al-Assad, was reportedly the target of an attempted poisoning in Moscow, according to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights. The observatory cited a private source, claiming Assad had been poisoned in an attack intended to embarrass the Russian government and implicate it in his assassination. The former dictator was granted political asylum in Russia after he was deposed 10 months ago. In December last year, Assad and his family fled Syria after opposition forces led by Ahmad al-Sharaa took control of Damascus, leading to a rapid collapse of the previous regime's strongholds. President Vladimir Putin personally granted Assad asylum in Russia, extending protection to his family and close regime allies. Assad, his British-born wife, and their 3 adult children resettled in Moscow after abandoning their Syrian palaces. Shortly after his arrival in Moscow in late December, Assad reportedly fell ill and sought medical treatment, where traces of poison were allegedly detected in his system. In January this year, media reports suggested that an attempt had been made to poison the former Syrian president. The assassination attempt in Moscow this week is therefore not an isolated event. According to reports, Assad was discharged on Monday morning from a hospital in the Moscow suburbs, and his condition is now stable. No one was allowed to visit him except for his younger brother, Maher al-Assad, and his former Secretary General for Presidential Affairs, Mansour Azam. Assad, 60, has not been seen in public since arriving in Russia and is believed to be kept under close guard by Russian secret services. Syria's new authorities have formally requested his extradition, a demand Moscow has so far rejected. The US State Department estimates Assad's family fortune at $2 billion, hidden across offshore accounts, shell companies, tax havens, and sprawling real estate holdings. Alleged plots against Assad are not new. His presidency was marked by repeated assassination attempts. On July 18, 2012, a powerful blast struck the Syrian National Security Headquarters in Damascus during a high-level meeting, killing 4 senior regime figures, among them his brother-in-law Asef Shawkat and Defense Minister Dawood Raja. Though Assad survived, the bombing dealt a severe blow to his inner circle. In August 2013, US intelligence officials suggested the possibility of another assassination plot, speculating that the threat may have influenced the regime's decision to escalate its use of chemical weapons. In 2022, Assad reportedly escaped a failed assassination attempt when gunmen allegedly targeted him as he arrived at the Al-Hassan Mosque in Damascus to perform Eid al-Fitr prayers. Earlier in 2013, Arab media outlets circulated claims of another attempt on his life, though details were scarce and unconfirmed. It was not only Bashar who faced such threats. His father, the late President Hafez al-Assad, also survived assassination attempts during his rule, most notably a failed grenade attack by Muslim Brotherhood members in 1980. Members of Bashar's family and cabinet ministers have similarly been targets of violence during the long-running conflict. Bashar al-Assad and Russia share a long-standing and strategic partnership that has deeply influenced the course of the Syrian conflict. Since the beginning of the Syrian civil war in 2011, Russia has been Assad's closest ally, providing crucial political support, military aid, and direct military intervention from 2015 until late 2024. Moscow's backing helped Assad's regime withstand severe pressures from internal opposition and Western countries. Russia's naval facility in Tartus and airbase at Khmeimim on Syrian territory have been critical to this alliance, serving as vital military footholds in the Mediterranean region. When Assad's government fell in December 2024 amid escalating rebel advances, Russia extended political asylum to him, underscoring the depth of their ties. After a swift evacuation facilitated by Russian forces from Syria to Moscow, Assad chose Russia as his place of refuge, not only because of their historical military and political alliance, but also due to Russia's strategic interest in maintaining influence in the Middle East. Assad's presence in Russia reflects Moscow's ongoing role in Syrian affairs and its desire to safeguard its military assets and geopolitical interests in the region. This alliance, rooted in mutual benefit, has shaped Syria's modern history for over a decade. On September 30th, the Syrian Network for Human Rights, SNHR, issued a report marking the 10th anniversary of the Russian military intervention in Syria. The report called on Russia to issue an official apology, pay compensation to the victims, and extradite Bashar Al-Assad, who fled to Russia after the fall of his regime in December 2024. The network documented the deaths of 6,993 civilians, including 2 Nawa 61 children and 984 women. The report noted that the 10th anniversary of the Russian intervention falls after the fall of Bashar al-Assad's regime in December 2024, which halted Russian attacks but did not end their devastating effects of violations, displacement, and widespread destruction. The report stated that Russia provided comprehensive political, military, and economic support to the Assad regime. It obstructed international accountability by using its veto power 18 times, 14 of which occurred after its military intervention. The development comes just a day after Syria issued a warrant against its former chief, Bashar al-Assad. Fadel Abdulghani, director of the Syrian Network for Human Rights, says,
"We cannot turn the page on these crimes or ignore Russia's continued harboring of the criminal Bashar al-Assad. Moscow has erected, politically and diplomatically, a fence that has prevented accountability by obstructing Security Council resolutions, while our human rights documentation confirms that these violations amount to war crimes and crimes against humanity. Therefore, any talk of new relations with Russia must be preceded by an official admission of responsibility and a clear apology. The handing over of Bashar al-Assad to justice are..."
Syrian authorities issued an arrest warrant for Bashar al-Assad on charges of murder and torture, the first legal action against him by the country he ruled for 24 years. However, doubts are being cast about its efficacy. Investigative Judge Tawfiq al-Ali said the next move is to convince Interpol to adopt the warrant against Assad, who is in Moscow, to achieve justice for the victims and their relatives. Al-Ali told official media the charges in connection with events in Daraa are for murder, torture, and incitement to commit murder. Daraa is the birthplace of the 2011 Syrian uprising. A Syrian official involved in prosecuting alleged crimes of the former regime said the warrant was a stopgap measure until a legal mechanism was set up to seek justice against Assad and his lieutenants.
The current legal code has no provisions for crimes against humanity. Assad under the current laws may also have immunity from prosecution.